Hi, how's it going? This is Resident of Colorado for YouTube back with another Dark Shadows video for you guys and gals. And yes, I have two more to do after this one. So I'm going to try to get these done. Um, I'm going to continue my character retrospective for House of Dark Shadows. Dr. Julia Hoffman is next. Now, for some people might say, well, this one's a tad tricky because they play this one pretty close to the series. Not really. Um, you really want proof that this isn't the same Dr. Hoffman? Don't look at her relationship with Barnabas in the movie, though that is a bit different. Look at her words. Professor Stokes comes to Dr. Hoffman in the movie House of Dark Shadows, and he says, "Do you know what vampirism is?" And Dr. Julia Hoffman in the movie says that, oh, I've heard about the legend, that they can't come out during the day, they don't have a reflection in the mirror. And Stokes somewhat scolds her because this isn't a legend. I'm not talking about this isn't a legend, Julia. And he's basically implying that, because Carolyn got bit and stuff, that Carolyn is going to rise from the grave. That's what he tells her pretty much. And he repeats this fact about during dinner at the Collins family. Imagine telling somebody, "Hey, your daughter's going to rise from the grave. She's going to be a member of the undead." Good news, bad news. Oh my god. um, yeah, that went over smooth, right? So, what's the differences? I talked about in the House of Dark Shadows movie a bit that she says she's heard about the legend. That's some of the biggest difference. In the to compare Dr. Julia Hoffman from the movie to compare Dr. Julia Hoffman from the series, they are not the same exact character at all. Is a very large difference. Let's get into the biggest differences of all. Dr. Julia Hoffman had heard about similar in the series had heard about similar cases like the one Barnabas was under. For example, she's meaning more of a blood disease. That she doesn't know there's a curse. Barnabas does not. Barnabas in the series is a very distrusting man. He does not trust anybody who's around him, and with good reason. Like, he's had a bad look coming when you've been asleep for 100 some odd years, and you've had a bad history of, your wife put you under a curse because you decided to shoot her with a flintlock because she was a witch, and she placed you under this curse. You thought your dad was going to cap your ass and kill you, and so you wouldn't have to wake up like this. No, he just chained your ass up. So you've been betrayed, and you wake up after 100 some odd years realizing this fact, and it's just like, well, I can't trust anybody, can I? And really, that's Barnabas's biggest dilemma. People have given him their word, and yet that word means absolutely jack on shit, and Jack has left town because, well, reasons. Well, more or less, Joshua had grown a conscience by the end of 1795 during the season. With Dark Shadows, the series, as I just said, that Barnabas can't trust anybody, right? He doesn't trust Dr. Julia Hoffman in the series. He doesn't. In fact, he tells Willie about killing her. And he's like, wait, Willie's sort of looking at him like, wait, you brought her here. Like, why? Why? He doesn't say, like, but the look he get, John Carlin's look he's given Jonathan's Barnabas is like, wait, no, you just brought her. We're going to kill her. You're going to kill her. I'm going to dig a hole. He does not trust Dr. Julia Hoffman, even though she's told him, hey, I want to cure you. Dr. Julia Hoffman in the series is looking for fame. She's looking to get her name and picture on the cover of Time magazine, if that makes sense. That is Dr. Julia Hoffman in the series. Now, the this is going to get a bit tricky, but Dr. Julia Hoffman does the one thing no doctor should do in the series. She falls in love with her patient. She is head over heels just in love with Jonathan Fritz Barnabas Collins. She's very much attracted to him. And even, Dr. Dave Woodard has seen, this right away, even though he doesn't realize what she's doing because she's under a different guise by his standard. She's posing as a historian and he's covering for her. Yeah, oh yeah, she's a historian. He's helping her get into the Collins family estate and go undercover to sort of find out, okay, what really happened to Maggie Evans. They feel this is the best plot ploy to uncover the truth. At least that's what she convinces Dave Woodard of. So, and by the way, that isn't necessarily the case in House of Dark Shadows. There's no Dave Woodard. B, nobody told that, oh, this is Julia Hoffman. She's covering for, she's coming in as this. She sort of is, she is taking a sabbatical, by the way, in the movie. They do talk about that a bit. But later, it's not revealed until later in the series, until after 1795, after Victoria comes back, that she reveals herself to be Dr. Julia Hoffman. That's right. Dr. Julia Hoffman does not reveal herself as a doctor until much, much later to the Collins family. We know, the audience, that she's a doctor, and yes, this is going to be a long video if you can't tell already, because again, this is to separate the two characters is a very large task. In the series, I've talked about Barnabas didn't trust her. She falls in love with Barnabas. There is a bit of jealousy. Now you could debate with me, and I would love to, because it's a interesting discussion. That is the question becomes with the series: is Dr. Julie Hoffman telling Barnabas to stay away from Vicky because she's afraid the serum might not work and she doesn't want to relapse, or is she telling him to stay away from her Victoria because she's flat out jealous? I think there's just a bit of both with the series. Now, here's the big difference. In the movie, there Dr. Julia Hoffman never tells Barnabas, "Well, stay away from Maggie." No, that doesn't happen. In the movie, she figures out that she realizes that she isn't investigating anything to a degree. She's not at House of Dark Shadows under a false pretense. And I know I'm going to jump back and forth, but trust me, you understand why I'll do this. Now, in the series, I've talked about her being there under a false pretense. She's slowly but surely investigating Barnabas Collins. He doesn't, she sneak, he's, she uses a compact mirror to see if he has a reflection when she's having him look at the Collins family history book. Oh, don't you see that girl Sarah? And she's talking about this and all that stuff, and she doesn't see a reflection. She also goes into the old house and sees Barnabas in his coffin. She's very brave when she does this. While he's sleeping during the day, she sneaks in. Now, so much for Willie, right? Who Willie must have been napping on the job. No, but still. Um, in the series, she doesn't so much sneak into the old house. She knocks on the door, goes in. Willie, where's Barnabas? I know it's about time. I know. She puts two and two together. She knows what she sees, that he has no reflection in her compact mirror at the party. No one else notices this but her, because she has the mirror in hand. She wants to help him. She wants to help cure him. What are the reasons? Is it strictly about fame? No. This is not a fame thing in the movie. She wants to cure him because she's flat out in love with him. She is. I'm not, again, I don't want to say I'm calling the character stupid. I'm not. She she's so in love with him, she doesn't really see how he's being with Maggie, if that makes sense. Like she's so, like she has tunnel vision. She just sees, oh, if I cure him, he'll be so appreciative of it, he'll fall in love with me. That's what she sort of has in the movie. She has her own sort of tunnel vision. And I do think that, you know, now she, when she sit, I think the moment she does realize it was when she's sitting in the room and she's thinking, I've been trying to cure him. And, Professor Stokes put some thoughts into her mind too that he doesn't love you. Like, he's just using you. And really, he's not necessarily wrong, but at the same time, it's not like he knows that she's in love with him. He's so caught up with Maggie Evans being Josette in the movie. Barnabas has his own tunnel vision. Um, in the movie, that he hasn't really seen how she's acted toward him. So the climax sequence between these two, the big climactic sequence between these two before the betrayal in the movie is Julia is somewhat telling him, like, oh, and he comes to the realization too, like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I had no idea. And he's not telling a lie. He really did have no idea how she felt. But he does not feel the same. Now, what's the difference in the series? In the series, Dr. Julia Hoffman realizes that Barnabas will never love her, but he does care for her as a friend very, very deeply. They become the most best of friends in the series. They really do. Barnabas, Julia, Willie Loomis, Quentin Collins, Professor Stokes. The five musketeers, my friends, of Dark Shadows. No, not four, not four. Dark Shadows had five. We had one more than or two more, if you will, than the three. But still, in the movie, there's not that musketeer sort of thing because again, it's a movie. I've talked about, we're not getting into deep character development here. But there is enough development to separate Dr. Julia Hoffman from the movie to Dr. Julia Hoffman from the series. Another little fun fact for you guys, if you don't know, and I'm sure if you're a Dark Shadows fan, you do, but for those who don't, in the series, Dr. Julia Hoffman was mentioned as a man. By that I mean, they said his name is Dr. Hoffman. Now, they never mention a first name on screen. The next time you hear the name Dr. Hoffman, you hear a first name, and then there is a bit of a sex change as Dave Woodard says her name's Dr. Julia Hoffman. That again, that doesn't happen in the movie. It's already Dr. Julia Hoffman, and for good reason. There's no reason to get into the whole backdrop like we did in the series. There's enough of a story within the movie itself because as she's put it herself, she's taking a bit of a sabbatical from medicine, from her practice. Which, hey, if you now, we're not told how exactly she knows the Collins family. She's just researching them a bit. She's doing some historical research, but again, it's not under a false pretense. Um, I wonder if Julia ever published that history book from the series. Hmm. I wonder. Right? Oh my god. Oh god. Now in the movie, Dr. Julia Hoffman does get attacked by Barnabas after the betrayal. Old man Barnabas makes an appearance in the movie. A lot more older than what they aged him in the series. And it looks really, again, House of Dark Shadows is a big sort of Hollywood budget movie. Now, take nothing away from the series. This series was sort of Hollywood esque to a degree with the makeup job. The makeup job in the series, to me, in my opinion, is as good as the movie. And I will debate anybody over that. No, they don't age him the same exact way, but that's what makes it special. Each has their own unique take. House has theirs, and the series has theirs. Both are fantastic. And both Dr. Hoffman characters are incredible. I hope I've established a difference for you here today. My next character is Professor Stokes, and hopefully there's enough of a difference there. It's close though. That one's a lot closer than the rest of them. All right, guys, you guys have a good day and take care.